So, Rafe, thank you for the conversation.
You.
And please join me in welcoming the director of Conclave, Edward Berger.
Thank you so much, Scott and Rafe, for this wonderful conversation. I learned so much. It was a great evening. Thank you. So we've flown here this week across an ocean to celebrate movies, and I feel very, very lucky and privileged that Conclave was invited to be part of that celebration. But the one thing I really looked forward to was to be here tonight in this wonderful town and celebrate Rafe. Outstanding Performer of the Year award. That's a huge honor, and it's a huge honor for me to be able to give this to you. So I wrote many drafts of his speech because I thought, like, how can I do this justice? This career that we've just heard about. I mean, you played so many wonderful parts, and you worked with great heroes of mine: The English Patient, Schindler's List, Sunshine. You were M. Monsieur Gustave, Macbeth, Richard III. And in one of my all-time favorite scenes, you uttered the 6 words that Scott took out of my mouth. See, I can't do it. Rafe has to do it. Would that it were so simple. But on the way here, sitting in the car, I suddenly panicked and thought, I can't do it, Justin. I have to rip it up. I have to rip up that speech and just say, just like you did in the clip that you saw in Conclave, where Cardinal Lawrence just suddenly shifts his speech and speaks from the heart. So I'm going to try to do that. I didn't really rip it up, but I've made a lot of notes on it, and I'm going to get confused. But anyway, so we didn't know each other when we met first for the film Conclave. I felt a little bit like Rafe going to New York and meeting Robert Redford. I went to London and met Rafe, and he was a hero, just like Robert Redford was a hero to him. And it was a big moment for me. And there was one scene at the heart of the film that brought us together and that made us do the film. And it is that scene that you just saw. Because I set out a movie that was, I wanted to be taut, precise, minimalistic, restrained, like a good game of chess. But when you begin a movie, you never know if you're actually going to make it, if you're going to achieve that. But the day we filmed that scene, I thought I might actually have a shot. Because I looked into your eyes, Rafe, and I saw every single thought forming behind them. I guess you learned from Istvan Sabo. I saw the restraint, I saw the minimalism, the humility, your performance under your performance, and in it, the quiet subtext of our film, and your eyes spoke 1,000 words. And when I was in the edit, I stripped away everything until the only thing that was left was that one close-up pushing in, because there was all the simplicity that I needed, because the film took place on your face. And sometimes, when I sat in the edit, I pondered how one does what you do. Can you learn that? If I studied a lot, would I ever be able to achieve that? Can thoughts really appear innocently for the first time on a face while you film them? Well, would that it were so simple. But in the end, what you bring to life is pure magic. It is much bigger than understanding. And perhaps I can find a small part of the secret to your magic in this sentence that you mentioned. I'm slightly going to butcher it for our purposes. If in a part you felt only certainty, if you didn't feel doubt, there would be no mystery and therefore no need to make the film. Rafe, I learned so much from you, from your kindness, from your generosity, from your ability to listen. And I'm eternally grateful for the trust that you gave me on this film. It is with great pleasure and honor that I hand you this award, the Outstanding Performer of the Year. Thank you, Rafe.
Thank you very much indeed. It's been a wonderful, sometimes a slightly confusing evening in a good way to see. Thank you, Scott, for a wonderful conversation, and thank you for your research and the depth and the detail of your research. I really thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Edward, my friend, thank you for being here. It means the world. Thank you to Roger Derling for inviting me here and to be with you here in your wonderful city and the Santa Barbara Film Festival. It's a great honor, and please believe me, it means a lot to me. Look, life is fragile. And looking back at some of my work tonight with Scott, I just realized how profoundly lucky I've been to have had these opportunities and to have shared them with so many remarkable people. The terrible fires that have devastated and wounded your sister city, Los Angeles, are an immediate shock. And they shock us into realizing who we are in a community, civic, local, or international. And when we witness terrible and traumatic destruction and loss, it can short-circuit our awareness to recognize, to see again what we value. I value the transformative power of art, low or high art, the art of storytelling, that mysterious moment when a story links us. As Scott told you, and I will say again, my mother told me the story of Hamlet in her own words when I was 8. I was disturbed, excited, and curious. I think we can all recognize that weird, uncomfortable current that can run through us when a film grabs our soul, our sense of reality, our sense of fantasy, the stuff, all the stuff that we're not conscious of. I live for that as an actor or as a member of the audience. What we can feel, communicate, and witness together. Thank you again, and enjoy the rain.